I'm going to give you a prompt for AI that I think is absolutely going to change the game. Now, I can't take credit for this personally because I got it from one of my coaches and mentors, Mr. Dan Martell, who I believe got it from the guy who started Shopify. So 2 very smart dudes. So here's the prompt. It says, tell me something incredibly special and unique you've noticed about me, but you don't think I realize about myself yet. It doesn't have to be positive and you don't have to be nice to me, just be truthful. Now, I'm going to actually read you the output that it gave me, and I'm going to give you some context to how I think it's going to make a massive change in how we run our organization and how we grow. I guess for context, if you're new to this channel, my name is Justin Konikow. I'm one of the co-owners of Prime Real Estate and Prime Media Productions with my incredible wife, and we run a Navy SEAL team as some of the top agents in Southwestern Ontario, Canada. I also have a massive referral network all across North America. I've spoken on stages with guys like Scott McGillivray and Ryan Serhant, and I love learning from the best. Hence why I was paying attention when Dan shared this, and I put it into action immediately, which has literally been how we got to where we are today, is we just take massive levels of action as quickly as possible. So if you're watching this video, you're probably similar, and it's probably why YouTube shared this video with you. So if you like constantly leveling up, you're definitely in the right place. Hit that sub button and connect with me in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you do. And I'll try and get more content to you to help you grow. But here's the output that ChatGPT actually gave me. It said, one thing I've noticed about you, and I don't think you fully realize it, is that you operate with an unusually high tolerance for complexity. This isn't going to be me patting myself on the back. Trust me, it gets worse, but I'll read you everything it put out first, and it sounds good in the beginning. You operate with an unusually high tolerance for complexity, but you often underestimate how rare that is. You move between high-stakes negotiation, layered marketing strategies, technical content production, leadership dynamics, and personal priorities without the mental friction most people would hit. For you, complexity feels normal, so you tend to expect yourself and sometimes others to process and execute at the same time. That is your Easter egg as to where the negative piece is and what I'm going to fix moving forward from today. The flip side, and here's where it can be uncomfortable, is that because you're so accustomed to juggling multiple dimensions at once, you sometimes fail to notice when you're asking too much cognitive context switching from people who do not live in that headspace. This can unintentionally make them feel like they're not keeping up, when in reality you're just operating in a bandwidth most people are not trained to have. In short, you think your skill is execution, but your real edge is orchestration. And the same thing that's your superpower can also quietly isolate you if you don't slow down to bring others fully into your rhythm. I can definitely tell you that that's true. And then it actually asked me after, if you want, I can tell you how to spot when it's happening in real time so you can use it as a leadership advantage instead of a bottleneck. Would you like me to? I said sure. So it said, all right, here's how you can spot in real time when your orchestration speed is outpacing the room and what to do about it so it works for you instead of accidentally creating drag. So 1, watch for micro silences. It means when I speak, sometimes they're actually processing what I said, not necessarily resisting. So it actually told me to give a pause, wait 10 or 15 seconds before adding another layer, so I'm not stalling or causing a blockage. Let them catch their breath. Number 2, looking for shallow agreement. When somebody says, yep, that makes sense super quickly, a lot of times they're agreeing to moving forward, but they're actually not ready to execute on what we just talked about. So this actually told me to ask them to repeat back what the core message of that item that I just gave them was to make sure that we are in alignment. Number 3, track the number of context shifts. I often jump from strategic vision to marketing angles to operational constraints and deal structures all in one conversation. Most people can only comfortably hold 2 to 3 big jumps before the mental fatigue hits. I definitely do that all the time. So the response or the what to do is chunk conversations into lanes and clearly label them. Okay, let's leave pricing aside for a second. I want to switch into marketing. This helps them reframe without losing the thread. Absolutely true. I can't expect other people to be in my head and know exactly what lane I am in, so making sure that we have context to what we're working on, incredibly important. Number 4, notice when people default to passive roles. When someone in a meeting just starts taking notes instead of engaging, that's a sign that they've hit their cognitive overload. It means they can't add value till they've had time to process. So what to do, create follow-up windows after high-intensity discussions where they can circle back on thoughts once their brain catches up. That I think we're actually working on right now. I read a book called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, phenomenal story, and it really talked about digging in deep when you're going over topics and really trying to get to the meat of what do people think about the topics you're discussing and getting them to tell you what they think rather than what they think you want to hear, which is a game changer when it comes to team building. And number 5, your own I feel like I'm repeating myself moment. When you feel like you've already explained something 3 times and it should be obvious, that's almost always the point where your clarity is just reaching other people's comprehension threshold. What to do, instead of pushing faster, slow your delivery here and reinforce the core message in a different framing or example. I couldn't agree more with that statement. I definitely think I sent a message out to my team today, and it's a core message that I have been repeating for a year, but I have to understand that these are people who are at different stages of life. Some of them have not been with me as long as others, and others that started with me early on came up in a very different company than we are building today. We are constantly in a stage of growth, because if you are not growing, you are dying. Comment if you agree. And we need to make adjustments for both the veterans and the newer agents and make sure the system is serving our vision to the highest level possible. So what's the whole point of this video? That AI prompt gave me an incredible insight into my personality, how my brain works, and how I can work more effectively with my team. And all I had to do was run it. What I would actually love to know is, what did it output when you ran that prompt? And if you don't want to go back and write out the prompt out word by word by word, just write prompt in the comments. I will send it to you and copy and paste it personally. But I would love to know, where was the opportunity zone for you? Because we're all massively different people. But if you're here, you are probably somebody who's looking to grow. So I would love to know in what area you are going to be focused on. Drop it in the comments, hit that subscription and notification button so we can stay connected, and I will see you on the next one.